Looks like I'm getting married soon. Huh? I congratulate you, dude. Who is this beautiful girl? This is Emily. We met her at a party through mutual friends, and we hit it off immediately. She was so outgoing and had such an infectious laugh that I couldn't resist. I realized that this is truly the love of my life. That's great. So, when did you two decide to get married? I think somewhere in a year. A few months into our relationship, we started discussing our future together. But we both knew we wanted to be together forever. So we decided to take the next step and plan our wedding. Are you already preparing? Yes, actually, it's really exciting. Now we have settled on a beautiful open air location, and now we're dealing with other complimentary points such as a restaurant, invitations for guests, and so on. By the way, you're invited too. Wait for your invitation in the mail. Oh man, I'm so happy for you. I will definitely come. Let's keep in touch. 5 months later. Emily cheated on me. I'm just terrified. 2 weeks before our wedding? What? How did it happen? We had a great night out to start with. We enjoyed a wonderful dinner and a few drinks at a fancy restaurant while engaging in deep conversations and savoring each other's company. However, as the night went on, I told Emily about my early morning plans and the need to drive. Despite my warning, Emily wanted to continue partying with our friends. Feeling a little unsure, I decided to trust my instincts and assumed Emily would be safe with our friends. But as I headed back to our apartment, I started feeling uneasy. I immediately texted Emily to make sure she was okay, and thankfully, she replied saying she was having a good time and feeling loved. However, my relief was short-lived, as I woke up to the sound of someone trying to break into our apartment at an ungodly hour of 4 a.m. I was overcome by fear and panic as I realized something was not right. Oh, what did you do? At first, I was relieved thinking that it was just Emily returning home, but as she stumbled and fell onto the edge of the bed, I knew something was off. She seemed to be in a daze, and her words were slurred as she rambled on about how amazing her night was. As she reached for her phone, her hand seemed to have a mind of its own, and it slipped from her grasp. "Crap!" she exclaimed, the sound echoing in the silent room. Without a second thought, she crawled out of the bedroom, leaving me to wonder what had happened to her that night. My mind raced with questions, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease as I tried to piece together what had occurred. What happened after that? It was really strange. I woke up in the middle of the night and found her sitting on the couch, muttering to herself in a frenzied way. She was completely lost in her own world and didn't seem to be aware of anything around her. When I asked if she was okay, she started saying weird things about trying to be more mature for me and feeling undeserving of me. It was odd because she'd never talked like that before. It was like she was a completely different person. I tried to calm her down and assure her, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The last time she talked like that, she ended up cheating on me with a mutual friend while drunk. I went back to bed, but I couldn't shake the feeling that history was repeating itself. It was like my gut was telling me that something bad was going to happen. That's tough, man. Did anything else happen that night? Yeah, Emily came into the room and said that she thinks she has ADHD. She's having trouble reading social cues and zones out a lot. I don't know much about the symptoms, but she's freaked out about seeing a doctor. That's a lot to deal with. How did you feel about that? Honestly, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, but I'm trying to be supportive and let her know we'll figure it out together. After she bounced, I crashed back to sleep. And what happened next? Well, when I woke up, I went to check on my girl in the guest room because she didn't want to wake me up. I saw her knocked out on the bed and thought everything was cool, so I went to get ready. But I had this nagging feeling that something was up. So I opened Snapchat and peeped her story. And guess what? She was posted up with some dude I didn't recognize, and they were dancing real close. I hit up our mutual friend, Andy, who was with her that night, and he spilled the beans that she was dancing with him. And get this, they even locked lips at some point. Andy apologized, saying he feels like garbage and it wasn't even worth it. He promised it wouldn't happen again, but he understands if I can't trust him anymore. Andy also sent me receipts of the text she sent him after she got home, talking about how she wanted to kiss him again, to which he replied, "Stop it." That sounds really rough. Yeah, it was. I still can't believe it happened. But I guess it's a reminder that you never really know what's going on with someone, even if you think you do. So, last night was a complete disaster. I found out that my girlfriend kissed one of our mutual friends while we were at the club. Oh man, that's terrible. What did you do? Bro, when I found out my girl kissed our friend, I was fuming. I marched right up to her and woke her up, no chill. I straight up told her that I knew what went down with our friend last night. And then, you won't even believe what she said. She looked me dead in the eyes and goes, "Oh God, I know. It wasn't even that good either." Like, seriously? That's your response? That's a pretty insensitive thing to say. Yeah, exactly. So I straight up told Emily it was over when I found out she kissed our friend. Like, that was the last straw for me. She tried to play it cool, saying it wasn't a big deal. But I saw the messages she sent him about wanting to kiss him again. So I told her she clearly doesn't care about the relationship and that it's done for good. And you know what she does? Barely even responds and just goes back to sleep. That just showed me how little she cared about what she did. I was already running late for work, so I left her there and headed out. No way was I sticking around for that nonsense. Did she try to reach out to you afterwards? Yeah, she messaged me a few hours later saying she's not sure there's much to say about, but it still happened and she's sorry. I couldn't believe how she was trying to downplay the whole thing, as if it was just a minor mistake. So I decided to call her and confront her again. At first, she was defensive and tried to blame it on the alcohol, saying she didn't know what she was doing. But I wasn't buying it. Not after what I had seen on her phone. I told her that she had betrayed my trust, disrespected our relationship, and hurt me deeply. I reminded her of the promises she had made after the last time she cheated on me, and how she had broken them again. I asked her how she could be so careless with my heart, and how she would feel if I did the same to her. Her response was just okay, as if she didn't care about my feelings at all. That was the moment I realized that it was really over between us, and that there was no going back. I hung up the phone feeling angry, sad, and relieved at the same time. But after all of that drama, she had the nerve to text me a few hours later and say, "I bought you a McDonald's." Can you believe it? What did you say to her? I told her that I was done and that I was moving out. But then she starts telling me that I don't need to move out because she doesn't want me to. I mean, seriously? After everything she did? Yeah, that's messed up. Did she try to apologize or explain herself at all? During our conversation, she never apologized. But then she said one phrase that terrified me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She had the audacity to use the phrase, "only happened twice," as if that somehow made everything better. Did she really think that made a difference? I told her that cheating is cheating, no matter how many times it's happened, and that I was done with the relationship. She tried to backpedal and come up with excuses, but at that point, I was beyond listening. The trust was gone, and there was no going back. Oh, I'm sorry, man. That's really rough. As if the situation couldn't get any more absurd, her story just keeps escalating. She claimed that the guy she was dancing with spiked her drink. At first, she didn't want to mention it. According to her, the guy kept buying her drinks after I left, and she only bought one more before he started buying them for her. Supposedly, she doesn't remember anything after having the last drink, and went from being tipsy to completely blacked out. As much as I want to believe her, it's hard not to be skeptical. I don't want to dismiss the possibility that she was actually drugged, but it's just such a convenient excuse for her to use after getting caught cheating. And the fact that she doesn't want to report it or get tested just adds to my suspicion. At the same time, I don't want to ignore the possibility that she might have been assaulted. It's a really tough situation to be in. I can understand why you're upset. It's a really difficult situation. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I feel like I can't trust her at all anymore. But at the same time, I don't want to just abandon her. if she really was spiked. It's a mess. And also, the wedding that we had been planning for months, it had been our biggest project together. And now, only 2 weeks before the ceremony, we were calling it off. The invitations had already been sent, and the parents had been invited, but now all the preparations were for nothing. It was a realization that all that time, energy, and money had been wasted. It is better to waste money and find out about a person's infidelity immediately than after 10 years of marriage. Hold on, brother. 5 days later. It's just some trash. Every day, I learn more and more news about my future bride. What new did you learn? I found out that a few months ago, my partner had texted a guy we knew, asking him, "Do you want a relationship or just closeness? I don't care which." And my heart sank when I read those words. My mind filled with questions and doubts, and I felt a deep sense of betrayal once again. It all started with a stupid fight. One of those pointless arguments that seemed to happen for no good reason. But as the night wore on, I began to notice that my partner was getting more and more flirtatious with this guy we knew. I felt uncomfortable, but I tried to shake it off and focus on having a good time. Little did I know that the events of that evening were about to take a turn for the worse. Later, we had a fight. Emily disappeared for a while, and I was left feeling confused and frustrated. And just now, I found out that she had gone to meet the same guy she had been flirting with all night. She lied to him, telling him how handsome he was and how much she liked him. That's terrible. What did you do when you found out? As I pressed for more details, she kept repeating that she had no idea what I was talking about and that I must be mistaken. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was like she was trying to make me feel crazy for even bringing it up. As I stared at her, I couldn't help but wonder if she was telling the truth or if she was simply trying to avoid taking responsibility for her actions. It was like I didn't even know the person standing in front of me anymore. I couldn't shake the feeling that something else had happened between her and the guy she had been flirting with all night. I pressed her for more information, but she just repeated the same apologies and didn't offer any explanation. It was frustrating and left me feeling even more confused than before. As we sat in silence, I couldn't help but replay the events of the night in my head, trying to piece together what had happened and why she was acting so strange. To make matters worse, I discovered that she had deleted the messages she had sent to the guy in question. I felt like she was trying to hide something from me. When I asked her about it, she showed me her DMs on Instagram as proof that she hadn't seen the messages. But I wasn't convinced. I had screenshots of the messages that filled in a gap between the casual conversation they had been having. That's so shady. I can't believe she would do that to you. Exactly. And to make matters worse, it turned out that she had been with another guy when we first started dating, and I had no idea about it. How could she keep something so significant from me for so long? I felt like I didn't even know the person I was with. In the end, I made the difficult decision to tell the other guy what had happened. It wasn't easy, but I knew that if I were in his shoes, I would want to know the truth. It was a painful and uncomfortable conversation, but I knew that it was the right thing to do. I couldn't bear the thought of someone else being hurt in the same way that I had been. That's the right decision. No one has yet canceled male solidarity. Oh yeah, apart from what I've already mentioned, there were a couple more incidences that went down. In one of them, she openly expressed her interest in a guy from our friend circle. Even though she denies it now, everyone in the group knows that she made such a statement. In the other instance, she nearly got involved in a three-way relationship with the same guy and his girlfriend, which came as a surprise and was quite unusual. It sounds like a lot of drama. Yeah, the past few days have been a roller coaster of emotions for me. I never thought I would find myself in this situation again, and it's been tough trying to wrap my head around everything. When I got home from work, I knew what I had to do. I told her that I would be looking for a new place to live at the start of the week. Until then, I split our stuff into 2 rooms so that we could have some space and avoid contact as much as possible. I didn't want to be around her, but at the same time, I couldn't bear the thought of losing her. She kept contacting me, saying that she loved me and wanted to fix things. But after being cheated on twice by the same person in just 4 months, I knew that I couldn't trust her anymore. I had given her the benefit of the doubt the first time around, but now I couldn't ignore the fact that she had broken my trust again. I'm currently in the process of looking for new apartments, and it's been a stressful and emotional time. I never thought I would have to start over again, but here I am. Maybe I'm being harsh, but I feel like the relationship is irredeemable at this point. I think you're doing the right thing. Betrayal cannot be forgiven. How are you feeling now? Although it's been tough, I'm doing my best to stay strong. I've come to realize that it's better to be alone than to constantly worry about whether your partner will cheat on you again. As for Emily, I wasn't the only one who distanced myself from her. Our mutual friends also started to pull away, as her constant drama and stories prevented anyone from living a normal, peaceful life. It's a shame, really, but I guess that's the price you pay when you betray the trust of those around you.